John Fury's a big bully, and big bullies need putting into place. And if I'm the man that has to do it, I will do it. I don't want to beat an old man up. I don't want to start on a 60-year-old man. But when I look back, when I beat George Groves up in front of 80,000 fans at Wembley Stadium, rendering him unconscious, he was 11 years younger than me.
Hey John! Go on, Dad! Go on, Dad! Go on, son! Give it to him, Dad! Show it his boss! Come on! Come on, Johnny!
Carl Froch tears into John Fury's training footage ahead of their fight, mocking the old-school routines and making light of Fury's age. Froch blends confidence with humor, showing he's ready to handle the challenge, while subtly highlighting the gap between his prime and John Fury's advancing years in a cheeky, fan-like way.
I'm only 10 years younger than Big John Fury. I know he doesn't look well, does he? He looks a bit older. I don't want to give him any stick, but he's 10 years older than me, 60-year-old man. I'm pressing on for 50. So, is it a fair fight? I think we both know it isn't, but he's called it on at Tottenham Hotspur.
Eddie Hearn weighs in on the Carl Froch versus John Fury confrontation, calling John a big old lump but making it clear that if they get close, Froch will swing. Hearn paints the picture of a chaotic but thrilling showdown, highlighting the danger Fury brings while backing Froch's skill and readiness in the ring.
I would never back against Carl Froch on the cobbles. Ever. But John Fury's a big old lump. There'll be some illegal moves in there. Do you know what I mean? But if they ever get close, Carl will be swinging. Do you know what I mean?
John Fury shows off his unorthodox hardcore training for the Carl Froch fight, pushing limits with bare-knuckle work and survival-style discipline. He emphasizes raw determination and self-reliance, claiming that true grit and willpower are all you need to prepare for a fight, making the showdown one to watch closely.
Another running video this morning, but not just a running video. I'm going to be the first man to fight a 3-time Hall of Famer. We're just doing it myself. John Fury style. Running, bare knuckle, heavy bag, eating, living in the woods, chopping trees, eating the filth of the earth. I'm doing it gypsy style. And I'm going to prove to everybody out there, where there's a will, there's a... Keep it straight, Dad. Keep it fucking straight. Keep it straight, mate. Go on, Dad. Pull. Shanks. Pull in.
Carl Froch's jabs at the Furies have stirred the pot, and John Fury isn't holding back. With tension simmering, a fight on the cobs seems inevitable. Both men thrive on confrontation, and this clash promises raw energy, unpredictable chaos, and a spectacle where neither will back down.
Carl having a go at the Furies, probably over his time on his channel, maybe, I'm guessing, and John didn't like that and wants to have a fight with him, something like that.
It was something like that. I don't think he was still necessarily turning down a fight.
What I do know is that John Fury and Carl Froch on the cobbles will be fun. I think they both have a good fun.
John Fury goes full savage, claiming old-school dominance and mocking anyone doubting his fight instincts. His rant is pure intimidation, throwing shade at the modern generation and warning Carl Froch that online talk won't save him in the ring.
Outside, I'm an animal. I'm telling you now, people who know me, or the past, they're all dead who know me. Who could say he can fight? Outside, he's an animal. They're all dead and gone. I'm from old school. I'm from the 70s, 80s and 90s, when men was men. We didn't talk down YouTube. The men made videos. We fought. And you see that, the pussies, man. Pussies. You think some 12-stone man can beat me a 5 round for that window like an aeroplane?
Carl Froch fires back with ruthless confidence, labeling John Fury a bully and claiming he'd dominate if confronted directly. Froch's words drip with disdain, turning this feud into a war of ego and showmanship that only adds fuel to their controversial showdown.
That's enough about Big John Fury, the fighting man who don't want to fight, really. That's enough about him. Big fucking bully, that's what he is. And it will come on top for him. He'll say the wrong thing or he'll approach the wrong person. If he came up that platform today, I'd have absolutely volleyed him back down the steps. Mark my words, I'd have volleyed him straight down them f***ing steps. Anyway, I'm not going to go on about it anymore. You can see I'm a little bit annoyed by the cheek of him. But all he's doing is attention seeking, and he's getting more attention now.
Johnny Nelson hypes up the looming fight, predicting Froch will leave John Fury reeling. The controversy is tangible, with both men feeding off hype, stirring public debate, and ensuring that this encounter won't be just a fight, but a full-blown spectacle of tension and rivalry.
Carl Froch.
Watch Froch on fight, because I'm quite sure Carl's going to rip the life out of John after today. I think John did a job. John did a job and got the excitement going, got people talking. That's exactly what he did.
John, I know you've done.
Shane Fury explains the clash between digital talk and real-life confrontation. His father John's old-school mentality clashes with modern trash talk, highlighting why this Carl Froch versus John Fury saga is as controversial as it is unpredictable, with tempers and reputations hanging in the balance.
To be like, you can talk about someone online and do videos, but not expect someone to say anything when you see someone. So I don't know. Listen, my dad's got his ways and his points, and 90% of the time he's half right, but listen.
The tension between John Fury and Carl Froch escalates as Liam Goff explains their past confrontations and talks of an exhibition fight. Froch's provocations and John's demands for proper compensation make this feud both controversial and highly charged. The charity angle adds a twist, showing Froch's confidence and strategic mind, turning a heated rivalry into a public spectacle everyone is watching closely.
John Fury was doing that and goading Carl Froch, and I know John Fury doesn't like Carl Froch. Carl Froch mentions him, although I haven't really watched much of Carl Froch's videos lately. But Carl Froch, I know, has mentioned John Fury in the past. He's had a go with John Fury. They actually talked about having an actual, was it an exhibition or a boxing type match? And John Fury, any man, any time, was saying words to the effect of, "Oh, I'll fight you, Carl Froch, but the money has to be right." And Carl Froch basically said, "All right, well, if we arrange payment, it can go to charity."
Dave Allen adds an outsider perspective, acknowledging John Fury's controversial behavior while maintaining loyalty to him. His comments highlight the fine line between respect and criticism in this feud, illustrating how John's fiery personality provokes reactions and fuels public interest. The controversy deepens as loyalties clash and fans debate who really comes out on top.
I'm not saying that I condone that behaviour, because I don't. You can't, it's impossible to. But John is my mate, I've got respect for him, I respect the family, we're cool. So you're never going to hear me say a bad word about it, but at the same time, obviously,
no.
It's probably not the Steve Bunce thing. I thought, bloody hell. Didn't like it, really.
Tyson Fury praises the fire and hunger shown in this rivalry, emphasizing how ambition and dedication drive both Carl Froch and John Fury. The intensity isn't just for show, it's a lesson in persistence and competitive spirit. This insight adds another layer to the feud, showing respect for hard work even amid personal clashes.
To be around people, just to show them what hunger is and desire is, and when you're at the top, to show them to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Hopefully they learn, it rubs off on them.
Spencer Oliver weighs in on the heated rivalry, calling it unpredictable and dangerous. Both Carl Froch and John Fury bring unique strengths to the confrontation, with age, skill, and reputation all in play. The feud's intensity is amplified by past interactions with other boxing legends, making this clash a captivating story for fans and adding layers of drama to the spectacle.
John Fury, Carl Froch, who wins that one?
Difficult one to call, that, isn't it? You got to go with the Cobra. You got to go with the Cobra, mate.
Really?
The Cobra's dangerous. He's still in shape. 48 years of age.
John's standing over there behind you.
You got to go with John Fury. Yeah, no, it kicked off a little bit. But it wasn't only Carl Froch that he went into either, did he? He actually went into Lennox Lewis as well. He started steaming into Lennox Lewis a little bit, and I go, whoa, who wins that one?
Spencer Brown just dropped some serious truth about why John Fury and Carl Froch can't stop going at each other's throats. And honestly, this whole situation is way more calculated than anyone realizes. Look, we all know Froch has this incredible ability to get under people's skin, but with John Fury, it's different. This isn't just some random trash talk session. John Fury is normally the guy who picks his battles carefully, right? He's been around the boxing world long enough to know when to engage and when to walk away. But Froch has found his exact pressure point, and he keeps pressing it over and over again. What makes this absolutely wild is that Froch's charisma isn't accidental. This dude knows exactly what he's doing. He's not just throwing random insults hoping something sticks. He's studying John's reactions, figuring out what triggers him, and then weaponizing that information in the most public way possible. And here's the kicker. Every single confrontation between these two becomes must-watch content, because you genuinely don't know if it's going to stay verbal or if someone's going to snap.
Hearing about a little altercation with him and Carl Froch. Was you privy to any of that?
I wasn't privy. You know what Carl's like. He winds everybody up, doesn't he, Carl? You can't help but love the fella, but he winds everybody up.
I don't think John's the easiest, the hardest person to wind up either, is he?
No, he picks his fights, doesn't he? He knows who to wind up, Carl. But he's a good interviewer and he's a legend.
But here's where Oldipo Davies breaks down the real psychology behind John Fury's explosive reactions. And this is what nobody else is talking about. Davies explains that John's protective instincts over his family aren't just some act for the cameras. This is genuine, raw emotion that spills into every public confrontation he has. When Froch starts poking at him, he's not just attacking John as an individual, he's attacking everything John represents as a father, as a patriarch of the Fury boxing dynasty. And Froch knows this. He thrives on pushing those exact buttons because he understands that John's measured exterior is sitting on top of this incredibly passionate, volatile core. What Davies emphasizes is the unpredictability factor. You can watch John handle business calmly for months, but the moment someone crosses that family line, all bets are off. That's what makes this saga so compelling for fans. It's not manufactured drama. This is real personal pride and competitive spirit colliding in the most public way possible, and every exchange feels like it could explode into something much bigger.
What John does, he's very, very, very passionate around his sons when they're fighting, and it gets something out of him. I spoke to him, right, literally face to face, and I said, well, you know, what is upset? He said, I don't want people calling me out because I'll take any man.
Now AD Oldipo witnessed the chaos firsthand at that press conference, and what he describes is absolutely insane. Picture this scene. You've got Carl Gareth, who's basically a master at psychological warfare, sitting across from John Fury, who's already on edge from weeks of back-and-forth provocation. Froch drops some verbal jab, probably something about the Fury family or John's role in his son's careers, and John's immediate reaction is pure instinct. But here's what makes this different from your typical boxing beef. Froch isn't just throwing random insults. He's calculated. Every word is designed to get maximum reaction, and John's explosive responses are feeding right into Froch's strategy. The press conference stops being about whatever they were supposed to discuss and becomes this battlefield of pride and reputation. Every gesture gets magnified, every word gets dissected by fans online, and both of these guys know that their reputations are on the line with every exchange. What Oldipo captured is that moment where real emotion meets calculated provocation, and the result is pure television gold that has fans rewinding clips over and over again.
And John Fury looked like he was trying to fight Carl Froch. Obviously, Carl has said a few things about John Fury over the last few months, and John Fury, being John Fury, went straight for him. I'm not quite sure what he was going to do if he got to him, but I guess that was the entertainment from the press conference.
And get this, the South Post Ant breaks down how this whole situation has escalated into complete madness, and honestly, it's exactly what both guys wanted. Think about John Fury's history for a second. This isn't his first rodeo when it comes to confrontations. The man has been involved in heated exchanges throughout his career, but Froch's relentless verbal assault style is different. Froch doesn't let up. He doesn't give John time to cool down or reset. He keeps pushing and pushing until something gives. And here's the wild part, fans are absolutely eating this up. Every new confrontation feels like a pivotal moment in their ongoing saga because you genuinely don't know how far this is going to go. Froch's fearless approach to provocation combined with Fury's explosive temperament creates this perfect storm of controversy and drama. Social media blows up after every interaction, boxing podcasts spend hours analyzing their exchanges, and fans are picking sides like this is some kind of boxing soap opera. The genius of it all is that both guys understand exactly what they're doing. This isn't accidental chaos. This is two experienced fighters who know how to work an audience, and they're playing their roles perfectly.
Guy is just crazy upon crazy upon crazy, but we already knew that. He's now chasing after Carl Froch. Obviously, Carl Froch has had lots of things over the years to say about John Fury, basically all negative things, but I don't know what John Fury was expecting to get out of that confrontation. We've seen John Fury try and go after everybody anyway, whether it's at Misfits Boxing, whether it's at a high level.
But hold up, because while everyone's been focused on the Fury-Froch drama, there's this whole other debate tearing the boxing world apart, and it involves two of the biggest names in combat sports history. The potential exhibition fight between Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather has fans completely divided, And honestly, the arguments on both sides are getting heated. On one side, you've got people saying this matchup is purely about entertainment and commercial promotion, not real athletic competition. They argue that legendary fighters like Tyson and Mayweather should be protecting their historical legacies instead of participating in what they see as late-career spectacles that could potentially damage their reputations. But then you've got supporters firing back, saying these exhibition events are exactly what boxing needs to stay relevant for modern audiences and generate the kind of massive global interest that brings new fans to the sport. The sparring controversy and mock reactions we've seen on social media have only intensified the discussion about whether this fight should even happen. Some fans think Tyson's raw power and legendary knockout ability would be too much for anyone to handle, even at his age. Others believe Mayweather's defensive genius and technical superiority would allow him to completely dominate and control the pace of any encounter. So here you have it. We've got John Fury and Carl Froch turning every press conference into a psychological warfare masterclass, while the entire boxing world is split down the middle over a potential Tyson-Mayweather exhibition that may or may not ever happen. But here's what's really fascinating. Both of these situations show how modern boxing has evolved beyond just what happens in the ring. The drama, the mind games, the social media battles, the fan debates, that's all part of the product now. Whether we're watching Froch systematically dismantle John Fury's composure or debating whether legendary fighters should risk their legacies for one more payday, we're all invested in these stories because they tap into something deeper than just athletic competition. These are battles of pride, legacy, and respect that play out in the most public way possible. So here's my question for you, drop it in the comments. Do you think John Fury should keep engaging with Froch's provocations, or is he playing right into Froch's hands? And when it comes to Tyson versus Mayweather, are you team power or team technique? If this breakdown helped you understand the real psychology behind these boxing dramas, smash that like button, subscribe for more inside analysis, and hit that notification bell because these stories are just getting started. I'll see you in the next one. But wait, there's something absolutely crucial that nobody's talking about in all this chaos, and it completely changes how we should be looking at these situations. Spencer Brown actually hinted at this in his latest breakdown, but most people missed it completely. The timing of the Fury-Froch escalation isn't random at all. Think about what's happening in boxing right now. We've got massive fights being negotiated, promotional companies fighting for market share, and legendary fighters trying to secure their final big paydays. John Fury isn't just some angry dad defending his family's honor. He's a strategic player in a multi-million-dollar chess game, and every single confrontation with Froch serves a bigger purpose that goes way beyond personal beef. Here's what's really wild about this whole situation. Carl Froch's psychological warfare tactics aren't just effective against John Fury, they're actually changing how promotional battles work in modern boxing. Before Froch started this campaign, most boxing beef followed predictable patterns. Fighters would trade insults, maybe have a heated face-off, and then the promotion would move on to the actual fight build-up. But Froch has created something completely different here. He's turned the pre-fight psychology into the main event itself. Every interaction with John Fury generates more genuine buzz than most actual fight announcements. And here's the kicker, this approach is so successful that other promoters and fighters are starting to copy it. We're seeing a shift in how boxing personalities approach public confrontations, and it's all because Froch proved that sustained psychological pressure creates better content than traditional trash talk. The really fascinating part is how John Fury's reactions have evolved throughout this whole saga. If you go back and watch their early confrontations, John's responses were more measured, more controlled. He was clearly trying to maintain that patriarch dignity while still defending his family's reputation. But Froch's relentless approach has systematically broken down those barriers. Each confrontation has pushed John a little further, made him a little more reactive, and now we're at the point where his responses are pure emotional instinct. What makes this absolutely brilliant from Froch's perspective is that he's essentially conducting a live psychology experiment in front of millions of boxing fans. He's proving that even the most experienced figures in boxing have breaking points, and he's showing exactly how to find and exploit those pressure points. But here's where this gets even more interesting, and this is something that AD Oladipo touched on but didn't fully explore. The press conference chaos we've been witnessing isn't just random explosive moments. There's actually a pattern to how these confrontations unfold, and understanding that pattern reveals just how calculated this whole thing really is. Froch typically starts with subtle provocations, testing John's mood and energy level. He'll make comments that seem almost innocent on the surface, but carry deeper implications about the Fury family's boxing credentials or John's role in his son's success. John's initial responses are usually defensive but controlled. He'll push back verbally but maintain his composure. Then Froch escalates. He'll make more direct attacks, often targeting John's pride as a father or questioning his boxing knowledge and experience. That's when John's protective instincts fully activate, and his responses become more heated and personal. But here's the genius part: Froch never crosses the line into anything that would actually warrant physical retaliation. He stays just on the edge of what's acceptable in a public setting, which means John's explosive reactions end up looking disproportionate to casual observers. This creates this incredible dynamic where Froch appears calm and in control while John looks like he's losing his composure, even though Froch is the one systematically pushing every button he can find. The result is content that feels authentic and spontaneous, but is actually following a very deliberate script that Froch has perfected over multiple confrontations. Now let's talk about something that the South Post Ant brought up that absolutely blew my mind. The fan reaction to this whole Fury-Froch situation has created these tribal divisions that go way beyond just supporting different fighters. People aren't just picking sides based on who they think would win in a hypothetical fight. They're choosing teams based on completely different philosophies about respect, family loyalty, and how boxing personalities should conduct themselves in public. Team John Fury supporters see him as a man defending his family's honor against calculated psychological attacks. They view his explosive reactions as genuine emotion and authentic passion that proves he's not just playing a character for the cameras. They respect the fact that he's willing to risk looking bad publicly if it means standing up for his sons and their boxing legacy. On the flip side, Team Froch supporters admire his strategic approach to psychological warfare and his ability to maintain control while systematically dismantling his opponent's composure. They see John's reactions as proof that Froch's methods are incredibly effective, and they appreciate the entertainment value of watching a master manipulator work his craft in real time. But here's what's really fascinating about these fan divisions. They're not just about boxing preferences anymore. They've become proxy battles for broader cultural debates about masculinity, family loyalty, and how public figures should handle provocation. Social media arguments about Fury versus Froch quickly spiral into discussions about parenting styles, professional behavior, and what constitutes appropriate responses to disrespect. This brings us to something absolutely crucial that most people are completely missing about the Tyson-Mayweather exhibition debate. The arguments for and against this fight aren't really about boxing at all. They're about how we view athletic legacy and what responsibilities legendary fighters have to their historical reputations. The people opposing this exhibition aren't just worried about the quality of the actual fight. They're concerned about the precedent it sets for how boxing legends should conduct the twilight of their careers. They argue that fighters like Tyson and Mayweather have achieved such iconic status that they have obligations to preserve the mystique and respect that surrounds their accomplishments. Every exhibition fight risks diminishing that legendary aura, especially if the performance doesn't live up to fan expectations. But the supporters of this potential matchup are making equally compelling arguments about accessibility and entertainment value. They point out that most fans will never get the chance to see fighters of Tyson and Mayweather's caliber compete against each other in any other context. Even if it's not a serious competitive bout, it's still an opportunity to witness two completely different boxing philosophies interact in real time. Tyson's explosive power and aggressive style against Mayweather's defensive genius and technical precision creates a stylistic matchup that fans have been debating for decades. The exhibition format actually allows both fighters to showcase their skills without the pressure of protecting undefeated records or championship titles. Here's something that's absolutely wild about both of these situations, and it shows just how much boxing has evolved as entertainment. The Fury-Froch psychological warfare and the Tyson-Mayweather exhibition debate are generating more genuine fan engagement than most actual championship fights. People are more emotionally invested in these ongoing dramas than they are in legitimate title bouts between current champions. This tells us something profound about what modern boxing fans actually want from the sport. They're not just looking for athletic competition. They want compelling characters, ongoing storylines, and emotional investment that extends beyond individual fight nights. The genius of what Froch has accomplished with John Fury is that he's created a storyline that has no clear resolution. Unlike a traditional boxing rivalry that ends when the fighters actually compete, this psychological warfare can continue indefinitely. Every public appearance is a potential new chapter in their ongoing saga. Every press conference could be the moment when John finally reaches his breaking point, or when Froch pushes too far and faces real consequences for his provocations. This uncertainty keeps fans constantly engaged, because there's always the possibility that the next interaction will be the one where everything explodes into something much bigger. Similarly, the Tyson-Mayweather exhibition debate continues generating discussion precisely because it represents this perfect intersection of nostalgia, what-if scenarios, and modern boxing politics. Fans get to argue about hypothetical outcomes, debate the relative merits of different boxing eras, and take positions on complex questions about legacy and entertainment value. The fact that this fight may never actually happen almost doesn't matter because the discussion itself has become the product. Social media algorithms love this kind of ongoing debate because it generates consistent engagement over extended periods rather than just short bursts of interest around specific events. What's really fascinating is how both of these situations reveal the changing economics of boxing attention. Traditional boxing promotion relied on building interest towards specific fight dates, with most of the promotional energy concentrated in the weeks leading up to an event. But what we're seeing with Fury Froch and the Tyson-Mayweather speculation is a model where the ongoing drama becomes more valuable than any individual event. Froch's confrontations with John Fury generate consistent content that keeps boxing fans engaged during the slow periods between major fights. The Tyson-Mayweather speculation provides evergreen debate material that boxing content creators can return to whenever they need to generate discussion and engagement. This shift toward ongoing storylines rather than event-focused promotion is fundamentally changing how boxing personalities approach their public personas. Fighters and boxing figures are realizing that maintaining relevance between fights is just as important as performing well during actual competitions. John Fury's willingness to engage in these heated exchanges with Froch, regardless of how they make him look, demonstrates his understanding that staying in the public conversation has real value for his family's boxing business. Every confrontation raises the profile of the Fury name and generates interest that can be leveraged for future promotional opportunities. From Froch's perspective, his systematic campaign against John Fury has accomplished something that most retired fighters struggle with: maintaining relevance and influence years after their last competitive bout. By positioning himself as this master of psychological warfare, Froch has created a role for himself in modern boxing that doesn't depend on his past achievements in the ring. He's become a content creator whose product is controversy and conflict, and he's proven that this approach can generate just as much fan interest as active championship-level boxing.